to get the support of two hardworking senators for this bill.
Yes, Mr. President, at this juncture, there being no other member who wishes to interpolate on the measure, I move that we close the period of interpolations. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, with the consent of the Chamber, I now move to open the period of amendments.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
With no committee amendments, I move to close the period of committee amendments. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we open the period of individual amendments.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is carried.
Mr. President, I move that we recognize the sponsor, Senator Grace Poe, for her amendments.
Senator Grace Poe is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. For individual amendment on page 2, line 16, section 3D,
To your amendments, Mr. President, I have an proposed amendment in line 12, page 2. That's okay.
This is line 16. Okay, go ahead with your line.
Can I go ahead? Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, distinguished colleague. On page 2, line 12, insert a new paragraph, letter D. Smishing/vishing shall refer to a type of phishing attack that targets victims through mobile texting, messaging, or voice calls that may include sending or providing hyperlinks, redirecting to legitimate-looking but fraudulent sites that may steal users' personal data, introduce mobile malware, or commit other frauds. Ito po ay ating ipinopropose, Ginoong Pangulo, sapagkat ito mismo yung root cause din ng problema ng ating maraming kababayan na nakakatanggap po sila ng maraming smishing at vishing, Mr. President.
Mr. President, before we rule on...
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 3, line 1, section 5, before the word registration, delete the phrase sale end.
Are there any objection? There being none, amendment is accepted.
On page 3, line 11, section 5, before the word that, replace the term SIM buyer with end user. This is an omnibus amendment such that all referral to SIM as end user.
Is there any objection? There being none, amendment is accepted.
On page 3, line 16, section 5B, replace the semicolon with a period and insert a new sentence that reads, for juridical entities, the certificate of registration as well as the duly adopted resolution designating the authorized representative in case of corporations and a special power of authority in case of other entities shall be presented.
Is there any objection? There being none, amendment is accepted.
On page 3, line 20, section 5E, before the word, add the word local.
Is there any objection? There being none, amendment is accepted.
On page 4, line 5, section 6, before the word database, delete the phrase a centralized and replace it with its respective. I so move.
If there's any objection, there being none, the amendment is approved.
On page 4, delete lines 19 to 21 and replace it with in case of any change in the information after the registration of the SIM or the loss of SIM, death of the subscriber, or any request for deactivation, the subscriber shall inform the PTE through its facility established for such purpose, provided that in the case of death of a subscriber, such fact may be reported to the concerned PTE by the immediate family, relatives, or legal guardian. In case of any change in the information after registration, the concerned PTE shall clearly note such change in its database. In case of loss of SIM, death of the subscriber, or request for deactivation, the concerned PTE shall deactivate said SIM within 24 hours from the report of the subscriber, provided that, regardless of any deactivation, the relevant data and information shall be retained by the PTE pursuant to the pertinent provisions of this Act. I so move.
President,
We'd like to recognize the Minority Leader, Senator
medyo
Pimentel.
mahaba-haba na yun, mahirap sundan, wala kaming copy or kung pwedeng i-flash lang, pero wala po kaming copies.
Maybe the sponsor can
flash it.
provide.
Just basically, that amendment is just saying that if a person dies, and the telco is notified to deactivate or to transfer the name to another subscriber who is a legal guardian or who is a relative, that needs to be noted, and that the information of the change shall be kept in the database for a period of 10 years. That's pursuant to this law, that PTE should keep the information for at least 10 years.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, we're already in the period of amendments, pati nga mga comma, semicolon, inaano na kino-correct natin. So we get the
gist.
meaning, the gist, but how is it expressed? I think we need to see
Okay,
it. Mr.
maybe request the Secretariat to
If they can print it, Madam
we
Sponsor,
upload it. No, can we upload it?
or we can upload it, if you can replace it the
Okay.
screen.
Maybe we can ask for. Yeah.
Session
can we-
suspended for just 1 minute.
Ask for